fair.
Okay, so how many of you guys using smartphone? Yeah, most of you, and I'm using this big smartphone too. But then there's around me, there's a few people, quite a few, who use basic feature phones still because they don't really need smartphone as much as me or you guys. So I'm going to explain why the mobile carrier need to produce more basic feature phone by using statics, my personal experience, and the others' testimony. So a basic phone user takes a larger percentage in US still, about like 40%. So according to Henry Blodgett from Business Insider, about 235 million of Americans use mobile devices, and the percentage of smartphone user in late 2010 was less than 30%, but in the beginning of the 2012, it became almost 50%. But still, the basic feature phone users takes about more than 40%, which is more than 100 million people. But then my question is the smartphone user had a variety of choices when they buying the phone? I would say no, because there's not that much basic feature phone in the retail or online than a smartphone. So I researched two biggest mobile carrier, Verizon and AT&T's website, to see how many smartphone and basic feature phone they sell. So Verizon offers 13 basic feature phones when they offers 29 smartphone, and AT&T offers 6 basic feature phones when they offers 35 smartphone, which is just 15%. So basic feature phone production is very low. So the people who want to buy basic feature phone, they have a little choice. So the consumer started to buy smartphone, but they are using their money to they're wasting their money in technology they don't really want to use. For example, Verizon offers their data plan, which is if you use smartphone, they require to have it, which is $30. It's pretty expensive and it's not unlimited now. So they have to use it as they make a contract. For personal experience, I worked at Verizon Wireless Retail. About 2 years ago, there's a lot of basic feature phone and a smartphone. So consumer had a variety of choices, whether they use smartphone with a $30 plan and using basic feature phone without the plan. But then now they offers pretty much small portion of the basic feature phone than a smartphone. And back then there's a lot of mail-in rebate for a lot of phones, but now everything is gone. So Verizon, they just trying to make money for by the selling smartphone more, and you have to pay if you want to upgrade to smartphone. You have to pay $30 extra as an upgrade fee now. So for those who don't need smartphone, using the smartphone is wasting money. According to Maggie Redden from CNET.com, the carriers recognize that there is subset of customers who have no interest in a smartphone because it's either too complicated or too expensive. But the reality is that each of these carriers sees their future in data, and they will do everything in their power to encourage as many customers as possible to sign up for smartphones that requires data plans. So they're doing their best to make people to use smartphone for who need, and also for who don't need. For example, my dad, he's using a basic feature phone, and it's like about 4 years, and he doesn't want to change his phone to smartphone because he doesn't want to waste his money to data plans. But he cannot change his phone because there's not that much feature phone around, and the new one is crappier than my dad's old one, actually. So for some people it's wasting our money. So the shortage of basic phone is just a pain for the who doesn't want a smartphone. I know that smartphone gives us convenience and helpful like navigation or staying on the connection on the internet, but for those who using basic feature phone, like more than 100 million Americans, the basic feature phone industry is so small, it became so small. So I think the mobile carrier must produce more basic feature phone for 40% people. Yeah.
All right, Jordan, what did you think?
I like that. I know we could I know we all do it, but I feel like there would have been better, a better attention grabber than the audience survey. But you jumped into it really well, and I could tell your viewpoint on it, and you came into your thesis within like the first, well, really soon. And that's good. Good intro. You had a good eye contact the whole time, and I saw that like the only time you'd be looking down is to check kind of where you are, and quotes and statistics and stuff. You made a good point on people that have too much technology and like they're forced to do it. Because I know my mom is the same with the smartphone right now. She has no clue how to use it. And you had a good personal experience story because you actually worked at Verizon. I mean, that's perfect. Overall, you're something you developed into the 3 points really well, and it was pretty smooth.
Okay, I'll echo your comment about the audience survey. I think that you've got a very clear statement of what your goal is for the speech. I think you need to develop a little bit more of an argument that there's an insufficient supply or market or options for these standard or featureless phones. I don't know what, basic phones I guess would be the term that you use. It's kind of strange to me when you gave the sets of numbers. You had to go to the websites and they've got 36 smartphones available, but only 15 of the basic phones. And I'm thinking to myself, if it's a basic phone, why do you need a lot of variety of choices? It's a little bit strange to me. Now there might be reasons why you need to have a variety of choices, but I'm just thinking if all you're using it for is phoning and texting, why do you need 36 varieties of phones that do that sort of thing. That seemed a little strange to me. I did like the fact that you had some numbers that talked about how many people use BASIC and why they prefer that. You had a good example that needed to be developed a little bit more, and you needed some follow-up on it. You mentioned that your father's BASIC phone, for instance, that if he had to replace it, he'd have to get a crappier new version of the BASIC phone. And I'm wondering, okay, well, what's worse about the new versions of the BASIC phone than the one that your father has now, and why would that, try and herd him and force him into the smartphone marketplace? We know that the wireless companies are all interested in getting people on data plans because that's where all the money is right now. And I think you've got a good development of the argument that there is a market for basic plans. Clearly that there are people who don't want to use them, so I think you do a pretty good job on that. I'm just wondering, what is it that's insufficient about the basic phones that are available now? The closest you get is there aren't a lot of models to choose from, and I'm not sure why there need to be, and the new ones are crappier than the old ones, and I didn't really get any explanation of what that was. So I think those are the things that you needed to work on the most in your argument. Presentation-wise, I think that you were fine. You had a pretty good vocal delivery. Your eye contact was really solid. I didn't think you were script dependent. I did notice, though, that you kept looking at the paper that you had with your outline on it. Even though you didn't need to, it was one of those things. I got it in my hands, I looked down at it, and then you go back to talking to us, and it doesn't look like you're reading anything from the page. You're checking in every once in a while. Well, where am I on this kind of thing? And it's a habit that people get into even when they don't need it. It wasn't a problem, just something that's noticeable. All right, that's fine. Thank you.